Hey guys, this is Jaden coming at you with another video. Like I told you, I had 10 new tips actually, and if you watched part 3, those were the first 5. These are the second 5, so I'm just going to jump straight into it. These are more tips that can help you to become a better Vanguard player. I hope they help you. Number 1 for this video, do not be afraid to try something new. And by that I mean, if you find a card in your deck that is just starting to become less... Maybe it's becoming stale, maybe it's becoming not as good in the deck as you thought it was. What I mean by don't be afraid to try something new, don't be afraid to, when you go home or if you're at your locals, to, spam your deck out in front of you and think, okay, what can I do to change this? Maybe change a few cards around that you wouldn't normally do and just try it. Because there have been some times where I get so dead set on this is how I have to play the deck, this is how it's got to be built, and this is how it has to be this is how it has to be built in order to do what I want it to do. And I learned this when I played Yu-Gi-Oh! Because when I played Yu-Gi-Oh! I got so dead set on certain cards being in my deck that it limited how I thought, and it limited me to a very, very few selection of cards. And I had a very special person in my life who taught me, sometimes you got to go a little bit outside your comfort zone, and when you do, you'll find something that's even greater than what you had. So I know this from experience, and I've never had to worry about this in Vanguard. So when I come across a card that I'm not so sure about, I don't turn my nose up at it at first. I think about it a little bit and think, well, maybe if I try this or if I do that, sometimes it's okay to try the things that you wouldn't normally want to do, because who knows, they might work. No. Number 2, know how to change your strategy due to what clan you're going against. And by that I mean, you might play different against an Aqua Force deck than you would as opposed to an Oracle Think Tank deck. Because when you're going up against an Oracle Think Tank deck, the number one thing that you have to keep in mind is that they're going to generate hand advantage. Oracle Think Tank decks generate hand advantage, so you're going to have to be prepared for that. Aqua Force, they attack a lot, so you're going to have to remember to keep a hand. That is just a prime example of just, complete opposites. You're going to have to know how to play against every single clan, and you're going to have to know to change your strategy like that, because you do not know what your opponent is playing. Because when you guys start a game, you just set a card face down like this, and until they flip it face up, you do not know what they're playing, and when you see that card, you have to be able to go, okay, he's playing Aqua Force, that means he's going to try and get at least 4 or 5 attacks off a turn, which means I'm going to have to keep a hand, which means I'm going to have to make sure if I can get a Vanguard up to at least 11, even a cross ride if it's possible, that at least takes away one of them, because then their Basil or Diamantes won't be able to hit me. So it's just little things like that. You have to be able to access your memory bank in Vanguard and be able to completely change the way you're going on the fly. Number 3, when you lose a game, this is probably one of the most crucial points. When you lose a game, make sure you figure out why. Did you misplay? Did you overguard? Did you play a card at the wrong time? Did you use your ultimate skill or limit break when it was too early in the game? Did you get grade locked? Do you have too many of a certain card in your deck and you weren't able to get access to the cards you need? Did you not have enough cards to guard with? Do you play too many of a certain grade and less of another? I mean, these are all just examples, but you need to have at least some idea why you lost. And guys, there will be some times when you lose a game that the reason you lost is just because the guy you were playing was just a step ahead of you in the game. And that's fine. That doesn't mean there's necessarily anything wrong with your deck. And sometimes you're going to lose games just because you get luck sack triggered, and that's just how the game goes. So if this tip, if you lose a game because you were sitting at 3 damage and you got double critted because you said no guard, that's just gonna happen. That doesn't mean your deck's terrible. That just means he got lucky. It's happened to all of us, guys. I've double critted people when they're on 3 damage and they said no guard, and I've been double critted when I've said no guard. So this is probably one of the most crucial points. If you lose a game, kind of think, okay, why did I lose it? Was it because of something flukishly lucky? Was it because I got grade locked? Try and think to yourself, what was the points of this game that made me lose? Number 4, if you find a combo, a move, a card that works for you, but for some reason everyone else says it's terrible, you should change it or suggest something else to you, and it works for you and you like it, stand by it. We're still going to give you our opinion, and that's the beauty of having an opinion. You should be able to listen to people's opinions and understand what they're saying and at least pay them their due and respect to hear what they have to say, but that doesn't mean you have to go with it. If you find a combo that if ever I on here say that you shouldn't do, or I wouldn't do, or someone else out on the street says they wouldn't do, and you do it and it works for you, stand by it. Don't change it just because we say or someone else says it's not what they do. Just because it's something that I wouldn't do doesn't mean it wouldn't work for you. So if you have something special like that, or a certain card in your deck you play just because you like it, go for it. I'm faithful that I believe that you should be able to play at least 1 to 2 cards in your deck that you play just because you like it. It might be because you like the artwork, you might like the card, it might, whatever. So, don't be afraid to stand by something that you like just cause, or if it works for you. And the last tip, don't be afraid to try a clan that is a total 180 from your favorite clan. And we talked about this. I did a video, and I had one of my teammates over the phone, and we talked about, this one time. If, say you play, just an example here, Royal Paladin. Now, that was my first clan, was Royal Paladins. Now, I think the next deck that I completely built and actually had done that I could actually play was the Dark Irregular deck that got stolen, but we're not going to remember that. But my point is, I had the Royal Paladin deck pretty much memorized. I had all the combos, I knew all the moves, I had the deck perfect. I had the Barkle play, I had the Soul Savers, I had the Palamedes, I had everything I could possibly ever want. And then I decided to build another deck, and I decided to build Dark Irregulars. And the reason I decided to build Dark Irregulars is because Royal Paladins and Dark Irregulars have absolutely nothing in common. And when you do this, you learn what the previous clan you were using, you learn more about it because you're learning about something else. You figure out, oh, this deck, its strengths are this, and this deck does that. You learn more this way. So if you have, I'm not saying you have to build the deck, but say you're at your locals. Okay? Say you're at your locals, and you play, this is just, I just grabbed the 2 first deck boxes I could out of my box here. Say you're a Pale Moon player, alright? And you're at your locals, and you're playing, you're having a good old time. And say you have a buddy who is a Narukami player. And, these 2 clans, they're nothing alike. Absolutely nothing. And maybe just ask him, hey, can I play just 1 game with your deck? I just want to try it. I just want to see if the clan if it works for me, if I might be interested in building it. So I was just wondering if I could possibly play a game with your deck. You'd be amazed what you'd learn if you would do that. I'm not saying you have to build, 16, 14, 15 decks. I mean, I build all these decks because I want to and because I'm lucky enough to where I can, but you don't have to. So if that is, being able to build and explore all the clans, and I've talked about this before, it's very crucial because you learn more. The more you learn about the game in general, the more equipped you will be to play it and make better decisions. So anyway, guys, let me review the last 5 tips that I did in this video. Number 1, do not be afraid to try something new. 2, know how to change your strategy due to what clan you're going against. 3, when you lose, and this is probably the most important point of this video, when you lose, make sure you figure out why. 9, guys, I'm sorry, for these 2 videos, I had them numbered 1 through 10, so I've been misnumbering them. Number 4 for this video. If you find a combo, move, or a card that works for you, and people tell you to change it, stand by it. And finally, don't be afraid to try a clan that is a total 180 or completely different from your favorite clan. We all have our favorite clans. Like I said, my top 5 favorite clans would probably be Royal Paladin, Gold Paladin, Narcomi, Kagero, and Aquaforce. But I've branched out and I've decided to play test and learn about these other clans that have absolutely nothing to do with those 5 clans, like Dark Irregulars and Pale Moon and Dimensional Police and Great Nature. That is the beauty of this game, is that there's a clan out there for everybody, but you should always try them all. I mean, my goal is to have a deck of every clan, just so I can explore all of it. And even eventually down the road, I'm going to crack, because if anybody knows anything about me, the clan I hate the most is Mega Colony, just because I hate bugs. I'm not afraid of them. I just hate them. They're a nuisance, And the only person I've ever seen that plays this deck right is my friend Scott. And even me, eventually, I'm going to get a Mega Colony deck, and I might play it a time or two, but I really don't, that's just me, so. But anyway, don't be afraid to branch out and try other things. And I feel like I'm almost talking down to some people when I say that. Don't be afraid to try different things, because my grandmother and my mother would say that to me all my life. Now, Jaden, how do you not know that you don't like broccoli? Because it looks like a tree. And I don't eat trees. And that was something I actually said to my grandmother, and she didn't take it too well. Anyway, guys, sorry I went off track there. But anyway, guys, thanks for watching. I hope all these tip videos that I've been making really help you. My whole thing is if I learn things that are good for me and help me become a better player, they don't do me any good if I can't share them. Because I want the community of Vanguard players, I want everybody to be good. I don't want your group over here that is considered your expert players, and then you have your group over here that's considered your terrible players, and I don't want your group over here that you consider the noobs. Guys, we were all a noob at one point, and no matter what we did in our life. We were once a noob at our favorite sport. We were once a noob at our favorite card game. We were once a noob at anything we did in our life. And whenever I find a newer player and I feel that there's a piece of information, or maybe I can sit down and play a game with them and just kind of teach them a few things that'll help them become better, I want to do that, because I like helping people become better players, because the better players we have, the better of the community we have. And mostly all the Vanguard players, except one person off the top of my head, at our locals, I like him. I like them because they're just friendly and they're fun, and all we want to do is just have fun. So, one last thing that I want to say is you get one more tip here, and I'm pretty sure I've said this one too. If you're at your locals, you'd be surprised what you'd learn if you'd actually help somebody. Sometimes, you remember that saying that some people say, I don't know if I'm the one teaching them or they're the one teaching me? It works the same way. So the next time you're at your locals and there maybe is a newer player and you've been playing for a while, if you can just maybe sit down with that player and say, would you like me to look at your deck? Would you like to play a game and maybe I can give you some pointers? It never hurts. And you'd be surprised, because there are people that are afraid to ask for help, or maybe they're shy, or maybe they're younger and you're older and they might be scared to ask you, and you'll tell them, no, I won't help you, you little kid, buzz off. So, all I'm saying is just, maybe once in a while, give back to the community of Vanguard. So, anyway, guys, thanks for watching. Comment, rate, subscribe, thumbs up this video. In the comment section below, please tell me if you like these tips, if I'm doing good on them. I want some feedback on these. I'd really appreciate them. So, anyway, guys, thanks for watching. Hope the tips help, and I'll see you later.